こんにちは。You gotta say こんにちは。
Okay. Okay. You ready?
ウォーレンです。
And go ahead. こんにちは、ウォーレンです。
ゆかりです。私たちは日本人の学生に伝道しているミッション to Japan です。
I don't know, I almost let you read on the first half of that sentence and then Mission to Japan shares the gospel with Japanese college and high school students by bringing them to America and placing them with Christian families so they can host them in their home for a couple of weeks. When I was 17, I had the chance to go to Japan, live with a host family for 2 months, had a great experience. I went back again for a mission trip after my first year of college. And then after college, I went for a 2-year missionary stint with 6 others in the same organization. After 2 years, we discussed, how things went, and all of us planted a lot of seeds, but we saw very few conversions. Shortly after that, I brought several students back to the United States for our first, what we call a homestay program. And several of them became Christians. After 2 years of being in Japan, not only me, but my colleagues as well, had a hard time seeing too many conversions. When they came to America, we saw students respond to the gospel.
My part with Mission to Japan is, of course, administrative because I still do speak Japanese. And also I teach the Bible study in Japanese. What I like about that is that when the students come here, they love American culture and they love to speak English. But when they stay with the host family, they see something different about them. The way they live their lives, the way they show love towards the students. So they start to think what's different about the host families. I call this show and tell because host families, they show the love of Christ. But through the Bible study, which is in their own language, Japanese, they will understand. Host families will show the gospel, and I get to explain the gospel in our Bible studies.
Mission to Japan shows love to strangers that come into their home just by making them a part of their family, having meals together, learning about each other's culture, and through that they grow to love one another. Only 1% of the Japanese population is Christian, and so it's the first time for them to really hear the gospel for most of them, and it really is given in a setting where they feel loved, where they feel part of a family.
I think what happens is once you get to know a person personally, not just as a guest, that's when the bond starts to form. I think gospel hospitality is all about really paying attention to a person as a person who is created by God and loved by God. And we already know that love, but for us to share that love with someone who does not know that makes us excited, really.
So oftentimes there's funny communication things that happen. One example is there was a student who was in a host family, and the family referred to their children as honey or pumpkin. Good night, pumpkin. So at night she heard good night, pumpkin, and she responded, good night, cabbage. And so
because she thought they were playing games, like word games.
And just chose a random vegetable. So those kind of things, little funny things like that happen a lot. We take care of the students during the day. The host family's job is to drop them off at the church. During the day, Monday through Friday, most weekdays, we have an English class for them. We have a Bible class for them. We take them out after lunch for an excursion. And then some days we do an all-day excursion, for example, to Disney. That would be all day. And the host families receive them in the evenings, have dinner with them, talk to them during dinner. And on the weekends, we allow the student to be exclusively with their host family for the weekends. We've been doing Mission to Japan since 1994 full-time, and we've seen over 1,000 students come on our program. We've seen many of them become Christians and get plugged into churches in Japan. When I go back to Japan, usually once a year, I get to see them again and renew those friendships, visit them at their church. It's funny because almost every time I go to Japan, I'll run into someone randomly in a city of millions of people. I'll hear, hey Warren, and I'll turn around and it's one of our former students.
From like 7 years ago, 10 years ago, long time ago.
I'd like to encourage and challenge the congregation to prayerfully consider hosting a student over Christmas for 1 or 2 weeks. It's a great way to show gospel hospitality, and it may be the first time that a student that you receive will ever hear the gospel, and so it can really make an eternal impact.
Hi, my name is Akari. I've joined Mission to Japan's homestay program 3 times. I became a Christian the second time I joined. My life has totally changed, and I'm so thankful for everyone involved in Mission to Japan. But this ministry is impossible without wonderful people volunteering as host families. Please consider opening your home too, so other Japanese students can be changed forever through Jesus' love. Thank you so much.
Christmas is a great time to share the gospel with a stranger, with a person that you invite into your home, because they're going to want to know the reason for the season, and it's just so natural for us with all the things that are going on to share. This is big. This is one of the biggest historical things in the world. This is the birth of our Savior, and for them to see that and to come into our lives during the season is extra special.